Let's get started. I want to make sure that everything, I want to make sure that everything is going in the proper direction where it says that it's going forward and not being read backwards. I've set up the closed captioning, so hopefully that will work as well. Okay, I just want to get everything set up here. Okay, we're going to calculate calories and macros. And this is not something I've done before, so I've got my own notes that I started with. I've got my worksheet here. So what you're going to need is your worksheet, if you can print that off, or a piece of paper, that's fine too, a pencil or a pen, and of course a calculator, unless you're really good and fast with math. And let's talk real quick. What are we looking at? We're looking at macronutrients, and those are the main things that our body needs. So it's the foods that we take in that's going to give us the energy and the ability to just survive. And those three main categories are going to be fats and proteins and carbohydrates. On the worksheet that I created for you, oh, I put mine up here. On the worksheet, it's going to have a space for your body weight, and you're going to put what your current body weight is. And then it's going to have spaces for P, protein, F, fat, and C for carbs. Now, we're also going to be talking about calories, and so I've abbreviated that as CAL. And you'll see on your worksheet that I've put in what my abbreviations mean, what they stand for. And then G/day is how many grams of each of these things per day that you would be able to eat. I then give you spaces to fill in with the numbers that we're going to talk about, so that you can calculate what this is going to look like for you. And then at the end, you'll have here's how many calories a day I should be eating, here's how many proteins, fats, and carbs that I can be eating. Now, here's the good thing about this, and let's just do real quick. Why is this important? Why is it something that anyone would be interested in? I know that weightlifters, bodybuilders, they are definitely interested in calculating all of these things because they want to increase muscle mass, decrease body fat. Okay, not all of us are bodybuilders. I love it. But I'm not going to that extreme, but I could absolutely get extremely shredded or cut following this. So if that's my choice, this is where I will begin. So what does this mean for those of you who are just in this group because you want to bust some belly fat, you want to trim down? Well, we know that it's calories in versus calories out. We have to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. We have to be moving our bodies, consistently, trying to get in 20 to 30 minutes every day of some kind of activity. I don't care if you put on the radio, put on Spotify, Pandora, whatever, and you just create yourself a great mix of dance songs and you just get dancing for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or you go for a walk. But you've got to do something that is going to increase your heart rate so that you're building, as I said yesterday, you're building your heart muscle and you're also increasing your ability to, like, increasing your lung strength, right? So that's really the important reason for that exercise. So let's talk about foods. I am very much a proponent of there is not one size fits all, one diet fits all, one, program fits all. That's just not the way we work. We are individuals. Bio individuality is so important for us to understand. You watch somebody else who gets on some grapefruit diet and they lose 30 pounds, and you go, I'm going to do that. But you don't lose anything because that diet doesn't work for you. This is something that you get to work with and you get to manipulate the numbers so that it matches what you're trying to do. So let's get started. We're going to figure out the best way for you to cut calories while still getting in the nutrition that you need. That's going to help you to lose the belly fat. That paired with drinking our Plexus Slim, because that balances blood sugars. That is so, so important. Balanced blood sugars, healthy blood sugar levels, cholesterol levels is really important for your sustainability. Like if you're going to live a good, healthy life, you can't just eat whatever carbs you want because that might jack up your blood sugars, and that's going to have effect on your vascular health, all of your blood vessels, your veins, and any organ that receives blood from those vessels and veins, because they start to collect the low, or I should say LDL, the bad cholesterol collects in those things, and just it becomes plaque and build up. So that's dangerous. That's why we want to be careful about saying, oh yeah, you get to eat whatever you want. Still not the case for us. So let's get started. I want you to start with, gotta find my pen. I need you to put in your body weight. So at the top, it's gray, it's highlighted in gray. You're gonna put in your current body weight. Mine happens to be right now 149 pounds, okay? Now, for me, I am doing maintenance. I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm just doing maintenance. You might be looking to lose weight, and so we're going to make sure that we talk about all of those things. We're going to leave protein, fats, and carbs blank for right now because we're first going to figure out, BW stands for body weight. We're going to figure out how many calories per day should you be consuming just to maintain your body weight. And for anybody, there is a range of numbers. Okay, some people want to gain weight, so they have a top range. Some people want to lose weight. There's going to be a subtraction from numbers. But this is where we're going to find our range. You're first going to do your body weight times 14. So my body weight is 149. So take the calculator, multiply times 14. So your number times 14, and mine comes out to 2,086. 2,086. I go, yikes, that's a lot. Then you want to take your body weight. So again, I'm going to move this over. Mine is 149, and I'm going to multiply it times 16 to get the top number. And that's 2384. Holy moly, that's a lot of calories, and I know it's more than I eat now. I'm sure I don't eat that much unless I'm eating junk food, but I work out 5 or 6 days a week. If I'm not reaching my goal number, I'm actually not getting the changes that I want. Yes, I will see some increase in strength, some increase in muscle mass, but not decrease in body fat or the BMI, the mass index, your body mass index. So here's our range, and there's a space for you to put it where it says total 2,086 for me to 2,384. All right, so that is the range of calories that you should be eating on a given day. Now, some people that are heavier, looking to lose a lot of weight, you're going to see very large numbers. And if you continue eating those large numbers and the wrong kinds of calories, you're just going to keep gaining weight. So this is where we take, we're going to go into a calorie deficit. So it says to lose weight, and this is right on your worksheet, to lose weight, subtract 300 to 500 calories from your lower number. That's what we want to go with. Okay. So on your worksheet, it says total caloric intake, and there's a space for that, and mine happens to be 2,086 minus, you get to choose. If someone were supposed to be eating 2,000 calories a day, or for me, 2,086 calories a day, and I subtracted 500 or 600 calories because I want to go aggressive, and this is someone who wants to lose weight quickly, and I'm talking maybe 2 pounds a week. If I drop by 500 or 600 calories and I start just feeling hangry all the time, or I make it for a couple of days and then I quit and I binge to make up for the deficit, that's not going to help me out. So it might be smart to start with a 300 calorie deficit. And so I'm going to take 2,086 and I'm going to subtract 300. Actually on mine, I subtracted 500. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. What if I was going to do, I just wanted to burn fat, get rid of it quickly. So I'm gonna subtract 500 from that, and I'm gonna get my number, which is 1,586. And that's calories per day. Okay, so I'm just going to pause for a moment and let you put in your total calories, subtract 500, and put in, this is what your calories per day will be while you're in your fat losing or weight loss mode. So go ahead and take a moment and do that. And of course, you can pause the video, like rewatch it, pause the video, do your work, and then restart. So I'm going to erase this so I can do the next part. To calculate our protein, how much protein we need in a day, on our worksheet, it says to calculate protein, you're going to do your body weight times 0.75. So 3/4 of a pound. So we're going to do our body weight. Mine happens to be 149. Put in yours. Times 0.75. Mine comes out to about, so it comes out to 111.75. I'm going to round that up to the next whole number, so it's, so we're just going to call that 112. So it's about 112, and that is grams of protein per day. Okay. So again, you can pause, put in your number, your weight times 0.75, and then you're going to get your grams of protein. When I want to figure out my fat grams, again, we're going to use our body weight. So I'm going to put in my body weight. This one's going to be, we're going to be eating a lot less. So we're taking a smaller number, which is 0.3. And to me, that's about 44.7. So I'm just going to go up to 45. So 45 grams of fat a day, 112 grams of protein. Now, we have some people who don't eat very much protein, and their numbers come from other places. Protein is so, so important for all of the restoration of our cells and healing properties and building muscle, all of those things. Protein is so, so important. So people who are eating where they're not getting animal protein or animal fats, like our vegans and vegetarians, you're going to have to find the healthy proteins in your eating style and make sure that you're getting enough of those grams of protein. Otherwise, your body's not going to work as well as it could. All right, this next section is calculating how many carbs that we can, that we should be eating as part of our diet. The carb number is going to seem really high. And so anyone who says, well, I'm eating no carb or low carb, you really got to rethink this. Carbs give our body energy. Say it again. Carbs give our body energy. And carbs come from all different places, right? Starches and grains and vegetables and fruits. The processed carbs, not what we want, and alcohol, and that's a totally different calculation for this. But your body needs carbs for energy. And so if you are going to start moving 20, 30, 40 minutes a day, you need more carbs to help with that energy level. People who are not eating many carbs often will find themselves tired. So carbs give us that energy. So let's figure out our carbs. And this is where it gets a little bit more involved. So just pause when you need to, like rewatch it, pause, and figure this out. So the very first thing that we have to do is we have to combine our numbers here. Got a phone call coming in, so don't want that. We have to combine the grams of protein and fat. So we're going to figure out the total number of this stuff and then take it away from the total, and what's left over is where we get to eat our carbs. So on the worksheet, it says your total proteins times 4 and your total carbs times 9. Fat times 9. So let's do this. We're going to go our total grams of protein. Mine happens to be 112. And I'm going to multiply that times 4. There are 4 calories in each gram of protein. So that's all that means. And we're going to do 112 times 4 for myself. And that comes out to 448. This number, 448, represents calories. Protein, there's 4 calories for each gram, and so when I multiply all my grams times 4, I can eat 448 calories that come from protein. Fat is my 45 grams, and each gram of fat is about 9 calories. See, it's a lot more. If we multiply that, so your number that came from your fat, your number times 9, mine comes out to 405 calories. We are then going to add, so you'll notice there's a place for your protein calories and your fat calories, and we're going to add these two numbers together. And I get 853 calories from my protein and fat. And that's, you've got a space to write that in, okay? You might need to pause, rewatch that, fill in your numbers. I'm going to erase this so that we can move on to the last part. All right, so my total calories from protein and fat, 853. So how do I figure out carbs? That's where we are now. Woohoo, carbs. I'm going to take my total calories that I was allowed, and remember we got that at the very beginning by multiplying our weight times 14, weight times 16. And then we subtracted. So at the top of your worksheet, you've got a number that is highlighted in gray, and it's your total calories minus 300, 400, or 500, depending on what the deficit is. You're going to take that number. So mine was 1,500. Actually, let me do it this way. 1,586. All right, so you'll fill that into the blank where it says your total calories per day is what you got when you subtracted your 300, 400, or 500, minus that number that we got by adding together proteins and fats, and mine was 853. So when I subtracted that, I got 1,233 calories for carbs. 1,233, that's exciting, right? Because we can eat some carbs. We can, we can enjoy some carbs as long as we're sticking to that 1,233. Now, some people say, I'm doing low carb because I do have a blood sugar issue. So then you would increase how many fats. So this is where you are going to make it individually yours. If you are trying to eat more carbs, the way that we're doing this formula, and you start and you realize, oh, I feel bloated. Oh, I'm starting to hold on to water. Oh, I'm feeling, or I'm gaining weight. Then you're going to have to mess with this. You might be someone who checks your blood sugar and you go, my blood sugar's higher. Well, then you're going to have to work it so that you're eating fewer carbs, more fat, or more protein, or a combination of both. So these numbers you can increase and decrease according to how you feel. According to how you feel. Not that I'm saying, oh, but you've got to be right here. This is just a place to begin. All right. So now I've got the 1,233 calories, but I need to know how many grams of carbs that is, because that's how it's written on labels, or that's how it's going to be written in the list. So I'm going to provide you some lists of carbs that go with foods, protein, what their grams are, fats, what the grams are in that. So I'll have some posts. I'll have a post where I have lists of those things. So now we want to do this final thing, is to figure out, it says to calculate how many grams to count for carbs. It says to divide the total number of calories allowed through carbs, divide that by 4. Again, we're going to say carbs have a calorie count of 1 gram equals 4 calories. So we're going to take 1,233 for me. You're going to put your number there, divide it by 4, and that's going to give our grams that we are permitted. And mine is about 308 grams per day of carbs. We now have 3 numbers. We're going to plug those in at the top where it says protein grams per day, carbs, and fats. So my carbs per day is 308. My proteins per day is 112. And my fats are 45. So at the top of your worksheet, you're going to fill in those 3 numbers. Okay? It takes some time. I know it's going to take me some time to figure it out, but when I start looking at the lists of different foods, and I want to just notice, am I getting anywhere close to my numbers? So the very first thing you can do, and I think you can use MyFitnessPal, there are other apps out there for counting, but where you would just plug in everything you eat. And I'm talking about if you walk past a bowl of nuts and you take 4 or 5, you're going to be very specific about it. If you drink sweet tea, if you drink coffee with cream or sugar or something in that, you would include any of the carbs that come out of, or the proteins or carbs or fats that come from our lean shake if you're using that. So you just have to read labels, to adjust some of those. But you're going to try and figure out how close you're getting and be very specific. You can't eat a couple of chips and think, I'm not going to put that in there, because those are going to come with a lot of carbs, a lot of calories in those carbs. And so you want to make sure that you're meeting this range. All right, the last one I'm going to do for you is calories of carbs in alcohol. So notice I didn't say you have to give it up. Alcohol is a little bit different. And so this will talk about carbs, but you will actually have to look at the calories listed on the drink that you're having, because they tend to be higher. The calories are going to be higher based on the fact that it is fermented. And so you're going to have residual sugars and residual things in there. So Joan says, yikes. Um, so let's talk about the alcohol that we might do. And we're going to go I'm going to go with wine. A serving size is 5 ounces. That's just over half a cup. So not the whole bottle, but one serving size is equal to about 122 calories. 122 calories. So let's say you have 3 glasses of wine. That's going to be 15 ounces. 3 times that is 366. And that's coming out of your carbs. I'm only allowed, well, that's calories, and I should go back and check. But the carbs listed will be on the bottle of wine. It'll say this how many carbs in one. And if you want to know how many calories it is, like I said, it's a little bit different for alcohol, so you can't just multiply. But if you're looking at grams of fats and carbohydrates and proteins, you can just multiply your proteins times 4, carb gram times 4, or the fats times 9, if you want to know exactly how many you're getting. But to calculate the alcohol, I want to say it's times 7. Yep. So did I put that on there? I did not. So if you're calculating calories just for alcohol for each carb, it's 7 times each gram. So that's going to give me how many calories are coming just from, and that's the carbs, how many are coming just from the alcohol. It doesn't count the residual sugar, the leftovers, if it's a mixed drink, if it's flavored, if it, all of those different things will count on it. So when you start thinking alcohol, if you're thinking, well, we've got an event, an evening, I'm going to go out and probably have a couple, 2, 3, 4, whatever your limit is, but you're going to go out and have some drinks, then that day, you're going to have to imagine giving up a lot of your calories from carbs. So you wouldn't eat very many carbs at all, and you would stick with your proteins and your fats. The other thing you can do is order yourself a bottle of Block or Balance. That is supplements that we have that actually help to block the absorption or the breaking down and converting into sugar. So if you're going to eat a pasta meal or something with high carbs, you take a couple of these Block or Balance. There are 2 bottles, and I think Balance is the most up-to-date one, but you take that before you eat, and it really cuts down how much of that carb is broken down into glucose. And that's pretty much where our body starts to store it. The thing about alcohol, when you drink it, it is converted. Yes, Balance saves you. I take Block. I've been taking Block for a while, and I'm excited to find out what it's been doing for my A1C count, for my blood sugar count. But the thing with alcohol is no matter what you've been eating during the day, remember I said carbs give you energy. And any leftover energy, leftover carbs that are in your body, they convert to fat in storage so that it can be used when you need energy again. When you drink alcohol, it becomes the top first source for energy. Even though it makes us tired, your body will use up the alcohol first. It will convert it into energy first, which means any of the carbs that go along with it, or the proteins or fats, they're not going to be used for energy. They're just going to get stored as fat. So when we see somebody with a beer gut, with that big beer belly, it's hard. It's because the alcohol is becoming their source of energy. The liver stores the excess fat, so we get a fatty liver, and then it just keeps basically pushing out from there, adding into the fat stores around it. The other thing with alcohol, it makes the taste of salty, and it just makes the taste of food better. It seems when we're drinking alcohol, we also want to have some snacks to go with it. And so you're drinking the glass of wine, and then now you want to have the crackers and cheese. So you've got to count all of that in. And if you're eating the crackers and cheese, yes, it's going in as a source of energy, but the body's not going to use it first. It's going to use the alcohol first. So that's why it's more fattening. Somebody will say, well, this doesn't have any, it's 0 carbs and 0 fat and 0 sugars. Yeah, however, typically we find that we eat a little bit more when we are having that drink. So just consider that. And this is probably a lot longer than you wanted to have. However, you can go back, watch it, do part of the worksheet, do all of the worksheet, and then ask me some questions if you have them in the comments here, about how this might look for you. If you want to just get a check on, if it sounds strange to you or if you think the numbers are off, but we can, and I can maybe help you with that. Again, this is a personal journey. And so we're already asking you to cut calories by intermittent fasting, meaning you're cutting the window of fueling down. So if you're doing a 16-8 or an 18-6 fasting window, you're only eating for 6 to 8 hours. During that time, it's difficult to get 2,000 calories in or 1,500 calories in. So that means you need to be more conscious conscientious, I should say, about the types of calories you are taking in. So if you start your day with your pink drink and a lean shake, that's great. If you're starting with a donut or a pastry or, whatever it is, some kind of a sweet drink from your favorite coffee place, you're going to get calories, but they might be empty or non-nutritional calories. And you're going to miss out on the opportunity to have stuff that's actually going to benefit your body. Alcohol there's nothing nutritional in it, so it's empty calories. So if you have a couple of drinks and you're missing out on 600-800 calories that day that you need to nourish your brain, nourish your muscles, and to help you burn fat. Because remember, alcohol does not give you any nutrition, it just burns as energy, so your body won't take from your fat stores. So think about that the next time you're just like, but I have to have my wine, or because I love margaritas. I love amaretto sours. I had a couple last night, but I'm also aware that if I'm going to do that drink, I'm not going to have the dessert to go with it. So keep that in mind. And again, if you have any questions, I would love to answer those for you. I hope this is helpful. Not everybody wants to jump into counting macros, but if you start counting what kinds of calories you're taking in, use your app like whatever there are different apps out there. You can find one. MyFitnessPal, I think, might be able to do that for you, but just find an app and see, as you plug in your calories from each day, what you're eating, and see if you come close to the numbers on your worksheet. If you don't, you will know exactly how you need to tweak to have better results. So have a great, energetic, and activity-filled day. Talk to you guys again soon.